put it through a weird machine and then like spew it out and think I said something completely different.
The machine's called logic.
I never said, oh my God, you're talking over me. This highlights exactly what I think.
You're such a strong woman.
This is what I think. I think you just don't like women, and that your desire for this doesn't come from a place of you genuinely loving and caring about women and thinking that women are special.
You know? You can read my heart now.
The way that you're talking to me, you think that I had a freak out and said your time. I mean, you won't let me get 5 words out. It doesn't matter if I'm a woman or you're a man. It's called a debate and a conversation. And if you're not letting the other person get 5 words out, it doesn't matter about our gender. It matters. I don't know why you think that's crazy for me to ask you to be quiet while I respond to something that you said, or let me talk for 10 seconds without jumping over me when we can only hear one person at once. That's not, and of course you attribute that to me being a woman freaking out, but really just asking you to shut the fuck up for a second.
I'm gonna let
I
agree with that.
You're gonna hit me with, I heart patriarchy until the people who you would consider patriarchs are speaking to you, and then suddenly the patriarchy should be disrespected. You should talk over it. You should be able to do whatever the hell you want, right? So the second we come into this, we find
he about to make a good point.
out that no, your true nature is revealed very quickly. It's just another entitled, like TPUSA girl, right, spewing a bunch of nonsense and trying to pretend that you're a conservative. You're LARPing as a conservative, covert feminist.
Okay, Griper. This is
Griper, like griping, complaining.
Oh, I thought she meant like grape, like
rapist.
Oh hell no!
Yeah, I was like, wait, how did we get here with that?
Thoughts on submission?
Shoot. Okay, so in terms of relationship submission, I'm not gonna lie. If you want to get all spicy and shit, I think it's really hot, the idea of submitting. I think it's like, especially if you have common grounds of respect for your male and he has respect for you and you have like that. I think it's really, really hot when you can like submit to your person. If that's the dynamic that you have and he's the dominant and you're the submissive, I'm into it.
What's your definition of submission?
Sexual sense, in the respect sense, in the day-to-day, like making
hold
decisions.
Hold on. You said sexual. We get the sex thing. Mm-hmm. Well, at least I get the sex
thing. And like I said.
But hold on. Let's go to the respect thing. Mm-hmm. What does that mean?
Making decisions like, hey, like, I think this is the best decision. We have a child together, for example. I think they should go to this school because it provides this kind of education. Well, I don't think we should go here because they don't provide this and that. Mm-hmm. And being able to come to an agreement, and maybe we disagree on it, but like finding common grounds and respecting each other.
There is no common ground. Sometimes
you are so.
No. So this is my overall point about this conversation.
Even if you can't agree, trying.
No, let's talk about it. So let's say, for example, boom, me and you have kids. Boom, we have a kid. I want to take the kid Johnny to fucking.
His last name's Johnny.
Johnny to Raspberry Rose, and you want to take your kid to goddamn, I don't know, what is this fucking Geek Bar?
Geek Bar Elementary.
I say, I don't care what you think. They go into Raspberry Rose.
Then I'm probably not in a good relationship if he says, I don't care what you think.
Okay, let me rephrase that. My bad.
Woo!
My bad. I hear what you're saying, but they're going to Raspberry Road.
I think then now is a good time to have a conversation of what our points are.
Why do we need
what are all the reasons you think that's a better school?
Thank you. We came to a good conversation.
Points.
Why do I need points and bulletproof if I'm telling you, hey, this is what's going to happen? I really don't care what you say.
Because
I'm going to listen.
It's good to have meat behind your points.
Savannah, hold on. I don't care. I do value your opinion. Mm-hmm. I value your thoughts. You as a person, you as a human, as a woman, as my woman, wife, etc. I value all that blah, blah, blah. Right. You said baby mom.
That is true. We're talking about a kid here.
You're right. But the kid is going to Raspberry Rose no matter what arguments you bring up.
Right.
At that point, what do you say next?
In submission. Woo, here we go. I think we're coming to a common ground now. If the relationship is I am the submissive one and I want to respect my partner.
No, not even
and that's,
the submissive
okay.
one. Go ahead.
No, the topic is submission,
yeah.
right? Yeah. Okay, so if we're talking in terms of submission, and I just said a couple minutes ago, I'm into submission. I like the idea of submitting to my partner. As long as there's no harm for my child in going there and my person has good points, I'm willing to say, okay, maybe I really do stand by this school for my kid.
Okay, hold on.
But my partner does have good points, and I do trust their judgment.
Yeah.
Because that's my partner. And also, if I'm willing to submit to... If I trust this person with all of me, then I should be willing to say, okay, I might agree with what I suggest as a school.
Yeah.
But also, I trust this person enough to be able to submit to what they believe.
Okay, now pause. I hear what you're saying, and I like your ending, but I do not like your middle. You said if there's no harm. Who decides that?
Harm. harm. Yeah, just making sure.
Who
I
decides
can't hear
that?
to save my life, so that's
But
what
you
I'm-
said it, so I'm just
But
repeating back what you
just
said.
make sure I was okay. I don't know. Just say I don't know. Just say. I don't know. He wants to take him to what's it called? Appalachia High School in Winder, where that thing just happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, should we choose that school, or should we choose a school where maybe there hasn't been a school shooting? You know what I'm saying? Like, just I know that's a crazy example, but just say you say harm. You know what I'm saying? Like, just say
That's a crazy
No,
wild
it's not. But I'm
example.
saying just say we live in Winder, and there's only 2 or 3 schools we can choose from.
Yeah.
And we have no choice. We can't put our kid in a school in another county because your address is your address.
Hold on, Savannah. I gotta be honest.
It's a valid
I would
point.
rather them go to that school because it's more than likely it's not going to happen.
Listen,
again.
okay, that's funny you'd say that because let me tell you, I went to church on Sunday. The church I go to, the head police officer that handled that situation and got
Yeah.
that kid on the ground with the gun, he was
Yeah.
at my church and he told his testimony, right?
Yeah.
He told me, not me, but he told everybody, he shared
Yeah.
his story. That happened. I was listening to the news the other day. There have
Okay.
been 2 or 3 days in a row, a couple weeks, 2, 3 weeks after this has
Okay.
happened, where
Yeah.
there's been more calls to the school for this happening.
So happening again? Okay.
It didn't
gotcha.
happen, but there are threats. But I'm just saying, I know this is just a crazy wild example. Just say we live in that county. There's
Gotcha,
only a couple
gotcha,
schools
gotcha,
to choose
gotcha,
from.
yeah.
You asked an example of harm. That's just a crazy example. But
Okay,
it is an example.
so let's back it up a little bit. I truly don't believe. Well, I don't even.
It's
go
you
there.
said an
Yeah, no,
example.
I don't want to
It's
go
an
there. Yeah, let's
creative
back it up.
example.
So going back to the
God
actual
bless those
point.
people also that
Yeah, facts.
went
100%.
through what they did at that school.
I
God
think
bless
you were
you.
actual coward by doing
Seriously.
that. Anyway, but you made me lose my track. You almost made me lose train of thought. But going back, so if who deems harm though, besides that crazy wild example, who is the arbiter of harm?
I don't know. I mean, it's human judgment to decide whether or not a school. I don't know. It doesn't take that much common sense to say, oh man, there have been definitely threatening situations to the school. Maybe it's not the best school, or it's in a kind of sketchy community, or I don't know. I can't think of a whole 4 million reasons.
No, okay, got you. The
You know,
reason,
like,
hold on,
I
Savannah.
think
Top
top
listen.
reason school shooter.
Okay, so
Unsafe
listen
school.
very
That's the first
carefully.
thing I can
Listen
think
very
of.
carefully. The reason why I'm challenging this so hard
Yes.
is because you're putting an outing on submission. That's what you're doing. You're putting it out on submission. I would submit
No,
only
I did
if hold
not.
on.
I
would
agreed with
submit with
submission.
90, let's say 95%. But if this one part I disagree with, I'm not gonna submit.
Okay, so what do you want me to say here?
I know it's not what I want. We're gonna have a conversation about
Our
it.
conversation is about submission.
Yes, you're about
And the
submission.
questions were,
Yes.
okay, so this is that you like to argue, and I like that about
I like
you,
debate.
but also, damn it, we can't
Not
get
argue,
to a point.
debate.
But okay, so
You should be used to this by now. It's been like 3-4 years.
I'm
Come
for
on, bro.
submission. I really am. I'm for submission. I'm in the sense of respecting. When it comes to, submission. What other forms of submission exist other than like a relationship partnership or at work where your boss is got the upper hand and he makes a decision and you don't agree, but you have to submit to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or for example, addiction. I'm in recovery. I had to submit to the idea that hey, I couldn't use a certain substance regularly. Like some people can go party on New Year's Eve, even go to work the next day. You know what I mean? Not everybody can do that. But submitting to the idea of whatever it is, you know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, there's all different types
but
of
hold
submission.
on, I want you to respond to what I
What
said.
submission are we discussing?
It doesn't matter, the submission.
Okay.
The submission we were talking about earlier was a relationship submission.
Got it.
You gave multiple definitions, which I agree with 100%.
Okay.
You just had an outing on part of that submission. That's what I'm disputing.
What do you mean? I'm
The
confused here.
as long as there's no harm, etc.
Yeah, I was just using an example. If coming to submission.
Yes.
If you are in a relationship, like we were talking about submission in relationship, and you and your partner, not in the sexual sense, everybody knows what submission is in the bedroom.
Well,
we
most
all
people.
know what that is.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? If you don't, then you're living under a rock or you're Virgin Mary, whatever.
All women pretty much submissive in the sex.
Right.
But
So
go ahead.
and if so and past that, everybody, like I said, we've already touched on it's common sense, the submission in the bedroom, but submission in terms of relationships and making decisions and respecting your partner and big decisions in your life or whatever. Hey, we're gonna move. Whatever.
That's a good example. Keep going. No, keep going with that.
Moving to a different community. But then again, I think of, okay, what are the positives and negatives of this? And then I think of hey, safe community, not. So a lot of it comes to harm. So I think a lot of it comes to in a partnership, you want to keep each other safe.
Yeah.
So, I'm getting to something here. Let her cook. No, but you want to keep it. It's seriously. And I think. Bruh.
Go ahead.
You don't even need that, bruh. But yeah, no, I don't know. Submission can be a really cool thing. In a lot of ways, I feel I've also been in a relationship. I ain't gonna name no names, but if you watching this, you know who you are, and I'm praying for you. I still do. Anyway.
Where the accent be coming from? All right, hold on. So let's back it up.
So I've been in relationships where I've submitted to someone who I ended up seeing in the long term that, like, this person didn't care about my best interest, and they didn't give a damn about being a partnership, and like, hey, I see it your way. I don't necessarily like I have this opinion, you have that one, but I trust your decision making, and I trust your judgment, and I'm gonna say, okay, we'll compromise on this, and I'll submit to what you want.
Pause right here. So this is gonna be my next question then. Do you think submission is a good or bad thing in a relationship, and why or why not?
Depends.
On?
I think it depends on the health of the relationship. Like, I was just getting at, like, I was in a relationship when I was a lot younger. I was 18 years old. This was like 11 years ago, and
Damn!
Yeah, no, I really wanted to, I don't know, I wanted to be everything this person wanted, people pleaser, and I'm also a recovering people pleaser. But, you know, I had to learn to, like, look out for myself first, and I was, like, very willing to, whatever you want, I'll do for y'all, make sure you have everything you need, and, you know, and, like, very overly submissive to the point where it was codependent, and, like, I was neglecting myself, you know what I'm saying? And, like, there's a difference between being, you have to know whether or not it's healthy for you, you know what I mean? Like,
well,
I know
shouldn't
that's
that be just being
basic, but I wasn't able to
vet better.
I wasn't able to see that. I was also 18. I was very naive, and I wasn't in a place
you
where
was an adult at 18, come over.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. I had spent a lot of time not doing adult things. I spent a lot of time partying and numbing feelings and traumas and stuff like that, so I stunted my...
let's not get into it.
Well, I'm just saying,
got you.
Things were put on hold.
I got you. But, okay, so you just basically saying that
some people
in certain contexts, you might want to watch your submission because you'd be submitting to the wrong person.
Know who you're submitting to.
That's what I just said.
Know who you're submitting to.
But that's a vetting problem, if I'm being completely honest.
Okay,
that's
a vetting problem. I've heard this term before. I'm sorry, it's a brain.
Vetting just means that you didn't put him through the ringer to be worthy enough of your submission.
Okay,
first,
so you
before
didn't.
You give your submission.
You didn't clear him through the stages of
this
guy's.
You was probably just like, oh, he's hot.
Great.
No homo.
Great point. Well, I mean, he's male or female. Doesn't matter.
No, I can't say that. You can say that.
Doesn't matter what your sexual preference is. A brain can say, well, that's a good-looking human being.
No.
There's no homo.
No diddy.
Being able to be like, that's a good-looking human.
No diddy. Anyway.
He's like, no diddy.
So you were probably just like, oh, they're attractive, etc., boom.
A lot of things to it. I also had just gone through some really tough stuff, and also my heart was longing for some kind of connection. And this person, and not, again, no harm, they have their own demons, but like this person, I think maybe I could be wrong, preyed on that. I felt like they did. And I don't know. It's true. I'm serious. Like, this person, we were young at the time, and like, I don't think so.
You don't even understand manipulation at that time.
Guess what? Of course I didn't, and I look back on it.
No, I'm talking about. Hold on.
Now.
You said they preyed on you, and I'm thinking in my
mind.
They
may not even knew that they did that.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
exactly.
And now my point, it doesn't change the fact that they preyed on me. You know what I mean? Like, I know that I've known this person for a long fucking 14 years now, I think, and I just saw him recently, and he's the same person. God bless him. And anyway,
that's not a good thing.
Well, that's why I said God bless him. I mean, I saw him at his little brother's funeral, so what does that tell you? You know what I mean? He's probably going through some shit. But anyway, so my thing is like, and like, I look at where I was at that time, and it was just like, even though I wanted to love and please and take care of and nurture, he had his own pains that he was not properly dealing with. So people only love you as much as they love themselves. People can only meet you as far as they meet themselves. You know what I'm saying? If people do not acknowledge their feelings, how are they fucking supposed to acknowledge yours?
Well, I disagree, but I think it's healthy.
You disagree with everything.
No, because I think you can definitely be a type of person that loves people more than you love yourself.
Yeah.
You can definitely compromise your own boundaries, etc., standards, etc., for someone else 100%. That's what I'm saying. I disagree.
Yeah, I get you. For sure.
But hold on, let's let Andrew cook.
Finish up.